currently doing a full makeover for my entire home. So if you missed it, I did do my guest bathroom, so you can go back and watch that. But for today, we are going to be working on this mud closet. Before we get into my plans for this mud closet, I do want to show you guys how this closet looked when we first moved in. It had these bifold doors and a wire shelf at the top. And I am going to be inserting my inspiration right here. So we are going to be building out a bench and other little necessities I want in this mud closet. But today we're gonna focus on doing our bench. I am super nervous to be doing this, y'all. Like, I've never done this before, so do not judge me. This is a true DIY. I never built anything on this level. Like, I did do the canvas, but that was just like 1, 2, 3. And I had some hiccups there, but for me to be building out an entire bench for my mud closet is insane. So we're gonna go to the store, get some materials, and we're gonna get started. So I started removing the channels that were left from the bifold doors, and I also removed the quarter round that was right in front of it. After my victory dance, I then removed my baseboards simply because I needed the framework of my bench to be as flush to the wall as possible, and the baseboards, especially the quarter rounds, would get in the way and make it difficult to achieve that. I also didn't care about how the paint chipped off at the bottom. No one would ever see it except you guys that are watching this video. Now it's time for me to mark the height of my bench. I went with 19 inches, but I honestly forgot to calculate the height of my bench top and the finishing frame, which would make this bench almost 21 inches. I also used my step ladder to get a feel for the height, and for me, it was perfect. Next, I used a stud finder to mark where my studs were in the wall. I also used small pieces of tape to act as a more visual guide. This would definitely help me secure the bench to the studs in the wall. I then marked where I wanted to place my closet partition, which would essentially separate the seating area from the coat rack. My idea for the partition is very ambitious, but I hope I can get this done. So my plan is to have a coat rack on the left, and the middle area where the U shape is, that will be the seating area, and then to the right I will put extra storage. Before cutting out anything, I have to get accurate measurements so that I can cut down my 2x4s to the length of the closet. So I'm probably getting a lot of kickback and smoke from my blade because I honestly need to change this blade out, but it got the job done. I am so tired. Whew, this is a lot. After dry fitting the front and back of my frame, it was time to measure, cut, and dry fit the sides as well. And after cutting all of my necessary pieces for this frame, I drilled the pocket hole screws on the top and bottom of all of my supports. Now it was time to move on to the top, and it was very important for me to see if everything was still leveled. I then moved on to securing my frame to the studs in the wall. I discovered that the top of my frame wasn't as square as it should be, and honestly it was no fault of my own. I later discovered that the wall itself wasn't as square, so I adjusted my frame just a little bit. I'm using this hardboard for the inside, and I'm actually going to use the more smoother side of this. This side is a little textured, but we're going to use this for the inside of the bench. I'm not too worried about the color. I'm not going to paint it. Nobody's ever going to really see the inside of it, and if they do, it's going to be closed up anyway. So we're going to cut this down. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're going to measure our hardboard. Y'all, I have this entire garage dusty, and I think I'm about to put on my bonnet because I don't want my hair to get messed up. All right, bonnet is secure, and we're going to make sure we all covered up. Now it's time to give my bench a more clean look, so I cut out some 1/4 inch MDF to hide the 2x4s. At this point, I needed to figure out what I wanted to do with my bench top, so we splurged just a little and went with a butcher block. To me, this would be so aesthetically pleasing compared to using a cheaper wood. So I ended up going with the beach butcher block from Floor & Decor. I didn't record this entire process because I was really nervous about messing this up. Butcher block is not cheap and you only get one try. I used some extra tile we had laying around to help me make straight cuts. Big shout out to my husband for giving me this idea. Originally, I wanted it to be all one piece and I didn't want to cut into the wood, but because butcher block is so heavy and the fact that I wanted it to be a lift top storage bench, it would be extremely hard to access the storage below. So I had to cut it to where I can add hinges and gas struts later. So FYI, my cuts were great, but my blade burned the edges of my wood. It was a bit disappointing, but on the bright side, you won't really see it unless you lifted it up and examined the sides. So I give myself a solid C. After all my dry fits, it was time to condition the butcher block. Doing this protects my butcher block by creating a protective barrier against moisture, stains, and everyday wear and tear. I needed to let those dry, so I moved on to more framing. I didn't want my bench to look so plain in the front, so I used some leftover MDF and added decorative trim. My thought process was to add a fake door to the right and a fake drawer in the middle. The other side would just be plain. These slats would act as the door, in which I would add a knob later. Next, I added more trim at the top and I also added the fake drawer. I honestly did not make sure if it was straight or not, but it didn't look so bad, so I think it was okay. Now it's time to pick out paint colors. I wanted to go with gray, which will really complement the tile. So I ended up picking a really deep gray, which was called High Speed Steel. Before painting, I did a light sand and caulked in some areas. I'm really terrible at caulking, y'all. I went in with this art brush to kind of be very careful to not paint on the wall. Unfortunately, guys, I have to stop right here because I'm waiting on some parts to be delivered in order to complete this closet. But I wanted to give you guys some really good content. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for part 2 as we attempt to finish this entire mug closet. Also, please comment and let me know, what do you guys think about the bench so far? Do you like the color? Do you like the butcher block? And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.